Some foods aren't just food, right? They're more like time capsules, packed with memories, with stories, and with this really deep connection to where we come from. Today, we're going to open one of those capsules. We're talking about a humble rice cake from southern China called Chao Mi Jian. For so many people, the very first memory they have of this taste is one of, well, delicious trouble. Picture this. It's the busy farming season, the adults are all out toiling in the fields, but the real treasure, ooh, that was hidden away in a glass jar back at the house. And the game was simple, but oh so thrilling. Could you just sneak one piece without anyone noticing? Yeah, that feeling. That mix of guilt and pure, sweet victory. That's really where our story kicks off. It was never just a snack. It was a prize. It was a secret comfort in the middle of a lot of hard work. Okay, so let's dive right into this. What exactly is this precious, stolen taste that holds so much meaning? So, this is Chao Mi Jian, and let me tell you, it is not your average sweet treat. This thing is built to last. The base is toasted rice flour, and it's all held together with this warm ginger-infused syrup. But the real surprise, the thing that makes it so unique, is what's inside. Crunchy roasted peanuts and a core of sweet cured pork lard for real long-lasting energy. And making it is a true art of patience. The rice has to be toasted just right, not too light, definitely not burnt. Then it's ground down into a powder as fine as sand. The syrup, it's boiled down, and then finally, it's all brought together with this special kneading technique called nian. It's this really powerful pressing and folding that brings it all together into a dense cake. And what's so fascinating is you can see the whole evolution of the process right here. On the one hand, you've got the old way, a huge, heavy stone mortar for pounding the rice into flour. And on the other, a modern, high-speed blender that gets the job done in seconds. But here's the thing that really matters. Even though the tools have changed, the reason why they make it, to share a little joy and good fortune with family, that hasn't changed one bit. So you see, this isn't just a snack for sneaking. Not at all. It has three very distinct, very important roles in the community. Let's take a look at its three different lives. Chao Mi Jian basically marks the rhythm of the entire year. It shows up as a ritual for the new year, it acts as an energy lifeline during that intense farming season, and then it becomes this incredibly profound symbol during weddings. So first up, New Year's. It's made during the very last month of the lunar calendar and stored away in those airtight glass jars. Yep, those jars, to be eaten all through the holiday season. It's a taste of continuity, It bridges the old year with the new. And it's also offered to ancestors as a prayer for a good harvest in the year to come. But what about its most practical role? Well, you can basically think of it as the original energy bar, perfectly engineered for hard physical labor. And this is just pure folk wisdom at its absolute best. I mean, think about it. Farmers were spending these long, exhausting hours in cold, damp rice paddies. The ginger in the syrup was believed to warm the body and fight off that dampness, while the carbs from the rice and the fat from the pork gave them dense, slow-burning energy to power through the day. It was fuel, perfectly designed for the job. And that brings us to its final, and maybe its most ceremonial role. This is where this humble little rice cake completely transforms into a wedding vow you can actually eat. When a man's family was getting ready for his wedding, they would make huge batches of Chao Mi Jian to give out to relatives announcing the good news. And every single part of it is symbolic. The round shape stands for unity and wholeness. The sweetness, of course, represents a sweet life ahead for the couple. And that sticky, dense texture, that symbolizes a bond that is strong and unbreakable. So the crucial point here is that this rice cake is carrying messages. It speaks a whole language without any words, communicating all these complex social rules and relationships. And that language has this fascinating double meaning. The handmade, slightly irregular cakes, the ones that are packed with the most filling, those are for your closest inner circle family. They represent lizi, or real substance. But for guests, or for more formal offerings, you might use the store-bought ones that are perfectly uniform, pressed in a mold. Those represent mianzi, or social face. One is about intimacy, the other is all about presentation. But the most important message of all is delivered with just a single, tiny detail. A little loop of red string, carefully pressed right into the top. This little red string is such a powerful symbol. Right away, it marks the occasion as a celebration. It brings to mind the red thread of fate that's said to connect people. But most importantly, it's a code of respect. Only the cakes that were given to the most honored elders and relatives would get a red string. It's like a silent, edible bow of reverence. So when you put all of this together, the memory, the function, the symbolism, you start to realize this food is about something much, much deeper. It's a flavor that actually grounds you. In Chinese, there's a concept called di qi. It's a bit tough to translate directly, but it means a kind of deep foundational confidence. It's that quiet strength you have when you just know who you are and where you come from. And for many, this rice cake is the taste of di qi. This quote just says it all so perfectly. That physical act of making Chao Mi Jian, that strong, forceful nian, kneading, it's a metaphor. You're not just mixing together ingredients, you're literally shaping your own resilience, kneading out your own strength for life. And this is really the final, powerful idea. In a world where so much is just mass-produced and impersonal, the act of making something so essential, so tied to your own personal and cultural history by hand, well, that becomes a quiet declaration. It's a way of saying, this is my story, this is my strength, this is my home. So that leaves us with a question. Whether it's a rice cake, a soup, or a piece of bread, pretty much every culture has a flavor like this, one that's just kneaded with memory and meaning. What's yours?